There's a peculiar kind of hunger we don't often talk about. It's not for food or success or praise. It's this quiet, almost unconscious craving for the emotions we know best, even the difficult ones. Sadness, maybe, anger, that constant hum of anxiety, even bitterness. We say, oh, I wish this would go away, but somehow we find ourselves right back in that familiar territory. It's like an old, sad song playing on repeat in the background of our lives. We know every note, and there's a strange, painful comfort in its familiarity. The mind, you see, loves to tell stories, but the body is a creature of habit. If your system has spent years, decades even, swimming in the waters of anxiety or resentment or apprehension, it starts to feel normal. It actually begins to expect that state, not because it likes it, not out of malice, but simply because the familiar feels like home, even when that home is filled with discomfort. This is what we could call emotional addiction. It's an unconscious tether to feelings that don't serve us anymore, but we feel they define us. And here's the quiet tragedy. So many people, particularly as the years go by, aren't suffering because something is fundamentally wrong right now. They're suffering because their entire being is still wired to react to something that happened long ago. I remember a woman telling me once, almost whispering, I think, I think I've been angry for 20 years. I honestly don't remember why it started, but I don't know who I'd be without it. Her story isn't unusual. Maybe you recognize it, that persistent unease, even on peaceful days, that quickness to feel slighted, that inability to really let go of old hurts. The Buddha pointed out something profound. You won't be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. And what a prison it is, being locked in these emotional loops, playing the same worn-out track again and again. But here's the gentle truth, the hopeful path. The emotions themselves aren't the enemy. They are signals, messengers carrying stories that haven't fully been heard or healed. The real problem starts when we fuse with them, when we say I am anxious or I am bitter. No, these are temporary weather patterns, not the vast, unchanging sky. So how do we begin to loosen these invisible chains? It starts not with blaming ourselves, but with simple, honest awareness. Like watching the tide come in and out from a distance, we just start to notice. When does this feeling arise? What thoughts ride alongside it? What memories does it stir? And we ask gently without judgment, am I actively choosing this feeling right now, or am I just replaying an old script? In Buddhist practice, this is the heart of mindfulness. Noticing without getting swept away, observing without reacting. Just like a meditator watches the breath without trying to force it, we can learn to observe our emotions without becoming them. Remember the story of the man shot with a poisoned arrow? Instead of pulling it out, he demanded to know who shot it, what kind of wood it was, the feathers, all while the poison spread. We do this, don't we? Clinging to our anger, our grief, demanding explanations from the past, while the emotional poison continues to work its way through us. Healing begins the moment we stop needing to justify the pain and simply find the courage to set the arrow down. It's not instant, it's not always comfortable, but on the other side waits a freedom that whispers, I am not my sadness, I am not my past, I am the awareness watching it all. And if you think, I'm too old, I've felt this way too long, picture a field buried under snow for many winters. It might forget the feeling of spring, but the warmth still comes, slowly, gently, and the snow melts, not through force, but through light. It can be the same for us. Let's begin. Not with blame, but with breath. There are wounds we carry that never broke the skin, silent scars etched not in flesh, but in the way we hold ourselves. The rhythm of our breath, the quickness of our pulse. They don't bleed, yet sometimes they never seem to fully heal. You can't point to them on an x-ray, but you feel them. Maybe it's in that instinctive tensing of the shoulders when a voice is raised, even if it's not directed at you, or the heart that suddenly races when absolutely nothing is chasing you, or perhaps just a jaw that you find clenched tight for no apparent reason. The mind might try to forget, to rationalize, to move on, but the body, The body remembers. Maybe it's the echo of harsh words from decades ago, the feeling of being unseen or unloved, a betrayal that cut deep, a loss that reshaped your world, or just that slow, steady erosion of joy over many years. Time might soften the sharp edges of the memory, but the imprint can remain, like footprints left in wet clay that have hardened over time through sheer habit. In the Buddhist tradition, they speak of vasanas, these subtle traces, these perfumed impressions left by our experiences on our mind and body. If we don't bring awareness to them, these hidden imprints continue to steer our reactions, our feelings, even the course of our lives, like unseen currents beneath the surface of the water. You see, every powerful emotion, especially the painful ones, triggers a cascade of chemistry in the body. When something traumatic or deeply upsetting happens, it's not just stored as a mental file. It changes your biology, even if just for a moment. Your system floods with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Muscles brace, breath becomes shallow. And if these responses happen over and over, or if the original event is never fully processed and released, the body essentially gets stuck in high alert. It starts living as if the threat never ended. So countless people walking around seemingly fine are not actually reacting to the present moment. They're reacting to a past that their body is still trapped in. It's like the body is this incredibly loyal guard dog, forever pacing, forever watchful, long after the danger has passed. And the heartbreaking part? The conscious mind might have moved on, written a new story, but nobody told the body, it's okay now, you can rest, you are safe. The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. But what if you've been holding that coal, smoldering deep inside, for so long you forgot you were even grasping it? Think of the old story. A man wanders for years carrying a heavy pack of stones. He believes someone, somewhere will eventually explain why he must carry this burden. But no one ever appears. Finally exhausted, he sits and asks the wind, why do I still carry this weight? And the wind whispers back, because you never considered putting it down. So how do we put it down? The first crucial step is recognizing that healing isn't just a mental exercise. It's a whole being invitation back to safety, back to softness, back to this present moment. It's not just about thinking differently, it's about feeling differently, breathing differently, being differently in your own skin. When we sit, perhaps in meditation, or even just take a quiet moment with a hand placed gently over our heart, we're not just trying to quiet the chatter upstairs. We are sending a message, a quiet, loving whisper directly to the body. You can release now. The vigilance isn't needed anymore. I'm here. I'm present. We're home. This is why so many profound healing practices, from ancient breathwork to modern somatic therapies, focus on the body. Because the body has to be part of the conversation. It can't be left behind in the past while the mind tries to leap ahead. As one wise teacher put it, you cannot step into peace while dragging the weight of every old battle. Yet that's what we often try to do. We seek calm while muscles remain clenched in old fear. We talk about forgiveness while our posture still holds the shape of defense. But when the body finally receives the signal, deep down in the cells, in the nervous system, that it is safe, that the danger has passed, something remarkable begins to happen. The frayed nervous system starts to rebalance. Hormonal tides shift. Breath deepens naturally. Sleep might return. And maybe, just maybe, that quiet, steady joy becomes possible again. The kind that doesn't need a reason. The kind that just sits with you in the morning light. Awakening isn't about denying the past pain. It's about gently loosening its grip, lovingly saying, thank you, body, for protecting me, for carrying me through. And now we can walk lighter. Because healing isn't about forgetting. It's about remembering with peace. There often comes a point in life, maybe when things quiet down a bit, when the road behind us looks longer than the road ahead, that we pause and wonder, is this it? Is this pattern, this feeling, just how things are going to be from now on? And then, perhaps in a quiet moment, maybe watching the rain, another question surfaces, a little more hopeful, a little more daring. What if, what if I am still capable of real change? So many of us come to believe that our reactions, our personality quirks, our inner default settings are pretty much set in stone by the time we reach a certain age. After all, these habits, the worry, the resentment, the self-doubt, they've been our companions for decades, right? They feel like us. But what if they aren't truly who we are, but rather who we've simply practiced being over and over again? In the Buddhist understanding, the mind isn't seen as some fixed, rigid structure. It's more like a flowing river. And the course of that river, its deepest channels, are carved by where we consistently place our attention. Think about that. Wherever your awareness goes, that's where the energy flows. That's the path that gets strengthened. This means that every recurring thought, every habitual reaction, every emotional groove is in a final destination. It's just a well-worn path. And the beauty of paths is you can choose to walk a different one. Modern neuroscience is now catching up to this ancient wisdom with concepts like neuroplasticity. Scientists have confirmed that the brain, regardless of age, retains a remarkable ability to change, to form new connections, to learn new ways of being. But there's a key. It requires intentional repetition. Simply put, practice makes permanent. Or perhaps better said, practice makes possible. And this is where meditation or mindfulness practice comes in. Not as some esoteric escape, but as a fundamental tool for transformation, a return to ourselves. When you sit, even for just a few minutes, and choose to pay attention, maybe to your breath, maybe to the sensations in your body, you are doing something radical. You are consciously hitting pause on the automatic, habitual storytelling machine. Breath by breath, you are choosing to step out of those familiar loops of thought and feeling, and into the quiet, open space where something new might actually emerge. You shift from being constantly reacted by life to becoming the calm witness of your own experience. You start reclaiming your power of choice. Now, let's be real. It's not always blissful silence, especially at first. You sit, you try to focus on your breath, and bam, the mental chatter erupts. What am I making for dinner? Did I forget to call Sarah back? Why did he look at me like that yesterday? My knee is itching. Is this even doing anything? The mind, that famous monkey mind, swings wildly, flinging thoughts and worries everywhere. But here is the quiet miracle, the core of the practice. Every single time you notice that your mind has wandered off, and you gently, without criticizing yourself, guide your attention back to your breath or back to the present moment, you are literally changing your brain. You are not failing at meditation, you are doing it. Each gentle redirection is like taking a step onto a new, less traveled trail in the forest of your mind. Each moment you manage to stay present, even briefly, is like lighting a small candle in a long, familiar, perhaps dark hallway. Over time, and yes, it does take consistent, patient practice, something shifts. The internal noise begins to quiet down, not because you've forced it, but because you've stopped feeding it so much attention. The monkeys settle, and in that growing stillness, something else awakens. A sense of a deeper self, a core of your being that was never touched by the fear, never truly defined by the history. The you before the stories, the you beneath the patterns. The Buddha taught, what we think, we become. In meditation, we're not just passively observing. We can actively cultivate the future we wish to embody. We can intentionally bring to mind feelings of kindness, rehearse gratitude, sit with a sense of inner warmth and love, not waiting for the world to give it to us, but generating it from within. Gradually, step by step, the mind starts responding less from the old wounds of yesterday and more from the quiet wisdom available now. There's a beautiful Zen image of the mind as a garden. Maybe weeds of anger, doubt, or fear have taken root over the years. But with the steady watering of mindful breath, of presence, of gentle self-compassion, new flowers begin to bloom. Patience, resilience, peace, joy. And eventually the old weeds simply find less and less space to grow. You might still be wondering, is it really not too late for me? Let me offer this thought. The mind itself doesn't truly age in its capacity for change. Only the stories we tell ourselves about its limitations get old. So yes, even now, especially now, you hold the profound power to choose a new thought, to cultivate a new feeling, to take a new breath. Because to meditate isn't to escape life. It's to finally meet it with clarity, with choice, with the courage to become who you were always meant to be. There's a kind of knowing that resides deeper than thought, isn't there? Something sacred about the heart, not just the physical pump in our chest, but the intuitive compass of our soul. While the mind analyzes, compares, remembers, worries, the heart often simply knows. It recognizes truth without needing endless debate. It can hold immense grief without shattering. And when we allow it, the heart holds the profound capacity to heal, quietly, thoroughly from the inside out. For many of us, particularly as we navigate the later chapters of life, the idea of healing gets tangled up with doctors, prescriptions, procedures. And those things have their place, absolutely. But deep down, we often sense that the most profound healing doesn't always happen under bright lights or through external interventions. Sometimes true healing begins in the quiet moments, when the heart, perhaps guarded for years, finally dares to soften. You see, the heart isn't just beating. It has its own rhythm, its own electromagnetic field, its own intelligence. Modern science is now validating what ancient wisdom traditions, like Buddhism, have pointed to for centuries. The heart and mind are intimately, biologically connected. When the heart settles into a state of smooth, harmonious rhythm, what researchers call coherence, it sends powerful signals out to the brain. Signals that basically say, everything is okay, we are safe, you can shift out of survival mode now. But here's the key. This state of heart coherence isn't generated by thinking positive thoughts alone. It arises most powerfully from feeling positive emotions. Feelings like genuine gratitude, deep appreciation, compassion for ourselves and others, forgiveness, and that most tender and transformative feeling of all, love. Not the clinging, demanding kind of love, but the quiet, spacious, unconditional kindness that simply says, I see you, I accept you, you are allowed to rest now. In Buddhist meditation, there's a beautiful practice called metta, or loving kindness. It often starts simply by offering well wishes inwardly to oneself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Then, like ripples spreading on a still pond, you gradually extend these warm wishes outward, to loved ones, to neutral people, even eventually, when you feel ready, to those who have caused you pain. This isn't just a sweet sentiment, it's deeply physiological. When you genuinely cultivate feelings of warmth, care, and compassion, the actual rhythm of your heart changes. It becomes more ordered, more balanced, more coherent. And when that happens, your brain starts to calm down, your nervous system shifts towards rest and repair, and your entire body receives the message that it's safe enough to heal. I think of stories like the combat veteran, hardened by years of trauma, carrying memories no one should have to bear. After struggling with insomnia, anxiety, and deep despair, he reluctantly attended a meditation retreat. During a simple exercise, just placing a hand on his heart and breathing slowly, intentionally cultivating a feeling of kindness towards himself, something broke open. Tears flowed, not from sadness, he later said, but from sheer release. It felt, he described, like my heart remembered how to feel again after being frozen for so long. That moment of coherence, where the rhythm of the heart aligns with the rhythm of peace, isn't magic. It's biology meeting grace. But many of us struggle to access it. We carry so much history. How can I feel love, someone might ask, when I still feel so betrayed? Why should I forgive, another might say, when they never even said sorry? These are valid questions, born of real pain. And yet, holding onto these positions keeps us bound. Forgiveness in this context doesn't mean condoning harmful actions. It means unburdening ourselves. It's not primarily for the person who hurt us. It's for us, the ones still carrying the weight of the pain. As the Buddha taught, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. When we practice forgiveness, not just saying the words, but breathing into the feeling of release in our own hearts, we're telling our deepest selves, you don't need to keep bracing anymore. The battle is over. And the heart, when it truly hears that message, listens. It softens, it opens. And when the heart opens, the whole body follows suit. Healing deepens. Because true healing, the kind that reaches down to the cellular level, the emotional core, the spirit, it often begins right here in the space beneath your palm. It starts when we shift from reacting to the past to consciously creating our present. There comes that moment, maybe right now, where we see clearly so much of how we've felt, how we've acted, has been a response to old pain. We didn't intend to carry it for so long, we just never learned how to set it down. We built our sense of self around the hurts, the losses, the fears. But you are not your thoughts. You are not your pain. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the artist, and your life is the canvas. Recognizing the patterns, the flash of irritation, the loop of worry, not as flaws but as practiced habits, is the first step. The second is realizing you have a choice. Imagine that fork in the road again. One path is familiar, paved smooth by years of walking it. The other is less clear, maybe a bit overgrown, but it leads somewhere new. Every time you pause, take a breath, and consciously choose a different response. Kindness instead of judgment, calm instead of panic, gratitude instead of resentment. You are blazing that new trail. You are literally rewiring your brain. You are moving from reaction to creation. The old self, the familiar patterns, they might call out, "Careful, it's safer here in the familiar misery." Choosing joy or peace when you're used to anxiety might even feel uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort isn't danger. It's the feeling of transformation. It's the old identity being gently asked to step aside. It's the sound of the cocoon stretching just before the wings emerge. Remember the lotus flower? It grows in the mud. Its beauty doesn't come from pristine conditions. It rises, petal by luminous petal, right out of the darkness. So too can we. You don't need to violently eradicate the old self. You simply stop feeding it energy. You stop watering the thoughts that keep you small. You stop rehearsing the emotions that bind you. And you begin ever so gently to live into the version of you that has been waiting patiently beneath the debris of memory. Start small. Speak kindly to yourself today. Imagine your day not as an obstacle course, but as a canvas. Close your eyes for a moment and ask, if I were already free from this old weight, how would I breathe right now? How would I sit? How would I meet this moment? Then begin to act from that place. Not perfectly, but sincerely. Over time, your biology will catch up. Your body will start to believe the new story. Your life will begin to reflect the self you are consciously, courageously becoming. The Buddha reminded us, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. What a profound gift that is. To wake up not as a prisoner of yesterday, but as the creator of today. And so here we are, back where we started perhaps, but not unchanged. Maybe with a little less weight in the chest, a little more ease in the breath, a little more space inside. We've journeyed through the quiet ways emotions take hold, how the body keeps score, and the incredible truth that our minds can change. Our hearts can heal, no matter how long we've carried our burdens. We've rediscovered that meditation isn't some complex, unattainable state. It's the simple, profound act of returning. Returning to this breath, returning to this moment, returning home to your true self. It is, quite simply, the medicine that only you can administer. Every breath taken with awareness is a small liberation. Every moment you choose presence over autopilot reaction is a quiet victory. Every time you sit with your own heart, not in judgment, but with gentle curiosity, you offer yourself the deepest form of love. Remember the wisdom, you only lose what you cling to. So often it isn't the original pain that keeps us stuck, but our relentless grip on it, the need to understand it, justify it, keep it close as a reminder of who we became in its shadow. But dear friend, you are allowed to loosen that grip now. You are allowed to gently set down the heavy armor that served its purpose, but is no longer needed. You are profoundly allowed to become someone new, not by erasing your past, but by finally honoring its lessons and choosing to rise. So let me ask you gently but directly, what old emotion, what familiar story has lived within you for perhaps too long? Is it fear, anger, guilt, sadness? Who might you be if you no longer needed it to define you? Who could you become without that script playing on repeat? Take a quiet moment with that. Don't rush, because the next chapter of your life doesn't have to be written with the same ink. You can choose a different story. Start with just one breath, not a breath of worry or regret, but a breath that belongs only to this moment. A breath filled not with fear, but with possibility. That single breath is enough. It is everything. If something in this journey resonated with you today, if it sparked a flicker of recognition or hope, perhaps gently nudged open a door inside, please consider sharing this video. Share it with someone else who might be walking their own quiet path. Someone who might need to hear that it is never, ever too late to soften, never too late to let go, never too late to come home to the peace that resides within them. And if you'd like to continue exploring this path of quiet wisdom together gently, step by step, we warmly invite you to subscribe. We're here not just for answers, but for the stillness, the softness, the deep truth that often reveals itself only when the world outside and the chatter inside grows quiet. Thank you for sharing this time, this space. May your breath be calm today. May your heart feel a little lighter. And may you always remember, healing isn't about fixing who you were. It's about gently, courageously becoming who you truly are.